He talks a good game. He talks a good game on the outside. He talks a good game. He talks a good. Hello, welcome to On the Edson. I hope you're all well. So, this is coming out live Saturday morning for the Premier League. I thought it was a good time to have a chat about a couple of the games. The fixtures coming in thick and fast in the next couple of hours. Starting off a lunchtime kickoff, Man United against Man City. The Manchester derby, right? One of the biggest derbies in the world. When Man City were obviously out of the Premier League for all those years and dropped down the divisions, it kind of fell off. The Man United-Liverpool game was always the massive game, but in terms of the Manchester derby, that sort of fell away. But obviously since City came back into the Premier League, and especially since they started becoming very successful, of course, and Man United completely dropped off the edge of a cliff, then it became a real rivalry again. But obviously it's kind of the emphasis have changed to Man City being the dominant club and Man United being the challengers, as it were, trying to match them. And let's face it, Man United is such a shit show, really, of a club. Of what's going to happen? This has come from a West Ham fan, so I can see a lot of parallels between the way they're being run, but they've got all the money and all the might and everything, and the way we're being run as well. They've just got a manager change, Carrick. Again, lots of parallels with West Ham. Carrick was an old West Ham lad as well. And we were looking at manager changes, and many within the fan base were muting, well, would Carrick come to West Ham? Would he be a good manager? And there's lots of people saying, well, he hasn't really, he did Middlesbrough in the Championship, but he didn't get them promoted. Has he got enough experience to be a Premier League manager? Now you're throwing him knee deep into Man United, and you got to wonder, what's going on. Listen, if you like this channel and if you like what I do, please keep on watching. The chat is open. I am monitoring as well, and I can put extra chats up on the screen so you can see them as well. Let me just make sure that this system works here. There you go. Look, so I put one on there as well. Let me get rid of that. So if you want to chat, whilst I'm not going to be on air for long. I really just wanted to have a quick chat about these games and what your thoughts are. So Man United, Man City, leading off the charge, 12:30. It's going to be an interesting game. I'm going to go for a Man City away win, but I wouldn't be surprised. Do Man United have enough within them for Carrick to go in there and get that manager bump for them? I'm not sure they do. I still think they're all over the place. I think it's going to take a few. If Carrick is going to be successful at Man United, I think it's going to take a little bit of time for the players to go to his way of thinking, whatever that is. I mean, if you're a Man United fan, let us know. Obviously, Carrick was at Man United for the longest time, of course. We know that. Fantastic player. He was West Ham, then he was Spurs, then he was Man United. Fantastic player. We know his passing range. We know the kind of football that he was involved with under Sir Alex, and obviously then he was part of the coaching makeup there as well before he went on to Middlesbrough. So we know what kind of pedigree he's got, but getting to the top job, that's totally different. So is he going to be the right one? I mean, who knows? I mean, they're lacking massive direction, aren't they? And structure and organisation, and that one figurehead at the top that's really going to, take them forward. But can they do it? I'm not so sure. I don't think they've got enough in them. But we'll have to wait and see. But it's Man City have faltered a little bit in the league in terms of draws. But they got Semenyo now. He scored a couple of goals in his last two appearances. So hey, let's see how we go. With Man City. I think it's all in for Man City's favour. But a lot of these games, Manchester derbies, they're not always thrillers, are they? From memory, there's very few of them been absolute thrillers. In fact, the Man United Liverpool games have never always been thrillers. It's very much cagey affairs sometimes. Sometimes they open up and sometimes they're barnstormers, but a lot of the times they're not. 3 o'clock kickoffs then. Let's get into those. I'm looking at the screen here. So Chelsea at home to Brentford. Again, Chelsea faltering. Brentford getting some great results this season as well, surprising a lot of people, especially after the Thomas Frank departure to Spurs and their manager coming in, coming up through the ranks. Brentford, just like Palace in many ways, but mostly Brentford and Brighton and Bournemouth. We talk about these teams in admiration or these clubs, I should say, in admiration, because they always seem to bring those either players through from nowhere, they bring those managers through from nowhere, and they seem to do quite well, and in fact, in some cases, very, very well. So Brentford, a team this season, I've forgotten where they are in the league. Actually, they're not doing too badly, are they? They're fifth right now. You know, if you said that right at the start of the season, you kind of think, what? They've won 4 out of the last 6, and the other 2 they've drawn. So they're right up there in terms of form, the form guide, doing fantastically well. So they're playing Chelsea. Chelsea have faltered quite a lot. Obviously, they've had their manager change. Rosinha has come in as well, however you pronounce that name. Lost 2 out of the last 6, 3 draws and 1 win. So 1 win in their last 6. I mean, it's not great form from Chelsea at all. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a nice little twisteroo there and Brentford come away with a draw or a win. Leeds at home to Fulham. Again, interesting game. 2 teams that are certainly in terms of Leeds, they're batting above average, and Fulham, it's a bit of an indifferent slow start in many ways, but now they've found their feet. And again, Fulham up to 9th, and Leeds at 16th as well. But I'm going to favour Fulham there. Actually, no, I'm going to come back on that. I'm going to favour Leeds on that one because home form for Leeds, they've done great. If this is a game you want to watch in terms of entertainment, I think this is a game to watch at 3 o'clock. If you're a neutral, right? If you're a neutral. Obviously, if you're a Chelsea fan, you're going to watch Chelsea. If you're a West Ham fan, Spurs fan, you're going to watch that game, right? Liverpool at home to Burnley. Sorry, Burnley. I just don't think you got enough. Whilst, Liverpool have been a bit indifferent at times. They're sitting 4th in the league. I don't think Burnley have got enough. They're sitting 19th in the league right now, aren't they? So not great. Just like West Ham and Wolves, Burnley have kind of found where they're at. A fantastic display last season in the Championship. Coming into the Premier League, they haven't been slaughtered. They have been putting up a decent fight, I've got to say. Their last time out, they got a draw, didn't they? Got a nice little draw in their last time out. Liverpool also getting a draw in the last time out, so we'll have to see how that goes on. But I'm looking for a Liverpool win in this game. Sunderland at home to Crystal Palace, a great game. I think that'd be a one to watch as well. Sunderland, yeah, it's a hard one because on their day they can both pull off an upset. On their day they can be, not that great either. A draw, a cheeky draw. Okay, the big one for me, of course, being a West Ham fan, Spurs away to Spurs, 3 o'clock kickoff at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. This is going to be, look, for West Ham, it's a must-win game. Spurs can afford to lose because they're on 27 points, 14th position. West Ham in right at the foot of the table, well, right at the bottom 3, I should say, 18th position, 14 points. So West Ham have to win. Spurs can afford to lose. But I think many people have commented it's the Al Sacchio game. It's whichever manager loses this game, there's likely to be under increasing pressure to be sacked. And I think out of the 2, I would agree with what most people have said, is that Thomas Frank is probably on the chopping block on this one. I think Nuno's got a little bit of respite to come. The last game of the day, Forest home to Arsenal. I think, okay, this is really important for the relegation spots in terms, because Nottingham Forest are sitting just above there. And if they start losing games, let's just have a look at their form. Yeah, I mean, they won their last game, of course, but they've lost 4 out of their last 6 with only 2 wins. If they start dropping points, losing possession, and then West Ham and even Burnley, you could put Burnley in the mix there, they start gaining ground, they could easily catch Nottingham Forest. These are all, when I say easily, big ifs, right? Really big ifs here. So we'll have to wait and see. Let's just put this up here. Kristen Paul. There we go. Let's put that up there. Our last game away was Wolves. I really don't see us getting anything. Hope I'm wrong. Come on, you lines. I think there's an opportunity. I said in my video as well. There's an opportunity to go at Spurs. But it's got to be a different mindset, right? It's a totally different mindset. It's got to be that we go out all out. The problem is that we don't have a manager with that kind of ambition, with that kind of forward-thinking play. And I think the players have lost that ability to think for themselves and take it upon themselves to do things. They're playing to a rule. They're playing to a system. They're playing to a tactics that just hasn't worked. However, I will say, and I've said this in a previous video, especially with a team like Spurs who are faltering, who've got a really poor home record, if you go at them and charge at them and you know capitalize on your on your attackers, then we've got a chance. If we're saying to ourselves we're going to lose this game, then we've already lost it before we've gone in there. And if we just go there tentatively and expect them to come on to us, we know how bad our defence is. We know how poor it is, especially Mavropanos has gone injured now. So we know Todibo and Kilman is going to get in there. So we have to go out all out attack. We have to go, we have to take it to Spurs. And Spurs, for their part, they have to come at us as well. So out of the games, I think this could be a cracking game to watch for the neutral, right? If you're a Spurs fan or a West Ham fan, there's going to be lots of anxiety and lots of fervour to try and smash the opposition. I made a video saying, "Look, West Ham have got to smash the Spuds. We've got to smash them because we need it more. West Ham need this more than Spurs need it in terms of wins. The managers, I think Thomas Frank needs this more than Nuno. But it's really." I've said this previously as well. What I've said is that, for me, all opposition now are faceless. It's not about rivalry right now. Of course it's there, of course. But what I'm saying is, it's not about who we're playing right now. It's not about rivalry. It's not about how much higher in the league they are than us, how many more points they've got than us. It's about wins. It's about points, and we've got to get wins quickly in order to close the cap and get ourselves out of this relegation spot. If we can. I'm not even sure we can do it, right? In fact, I'm pretty positive we can do it. In fact, I've always said that Nuno is the wrong manager for us, the kind of manager that we need. With the players that we've got, we've had successive managers that have let us down in the way that we, and not capitalised on our attacking play and not been ambitious enough and played on the front foot. So because we're in the situation that we're in, I just don't think we've got it within us. However, if there is a game, and I think if you speak to most West Ham fans, you would say, that is there a realistic opportunity that we could go to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and beat them? Possibly not, because we've been so poor. But if there's ever been an opportunity to get a win at Spurs, now is the time. Now is the time. Just like last season, because they're such a poor team right now. So West Ham have got to do it. Got to play on the front foot. Forest against Arsenal, of course, they're just above the relegation spot. So if they start dropping points, just as I've said previously, if they start dropping points, West Ham and Burnley, but West Ham especially from my point of view, they start gaining points. It closes it and makes it very, very nervous for the hunted. And the hunted in this sense is going to be Nottingham Forest. For the hunter, West Ham, you can see your prey is in sight, so it's an easier chase. It's easier to chase somebody down or chase another team down than it is to pull away from another team. Let's have a look. Kristen, here we go. Yeah, I agree. If we go for an attack, we have a chance. Tati looks good and gives us something different. I hope he looks good. In terms of the Premier League I'm talking about, yeah, we saw it in the cup. Nice header, lovely. but we're talking about QPR, right? I was shouting from the stands. I said, look, you do realise we're playing QPR here. So I was saying to the lads, you do realise we're playing fucking QPR. Come on. And, eventually they got it, but it's an extra time. But now we're talking Premier League. We know there's a massive gulf in standards, in levels between Premier League teams and championship teams, right? Every team on their day can get a win. We know that. I'm not saying that at all. But in terms of league form, we know there's levels, right? This is why we're so surprised this season that Leeds, but especially Sunderland, have been able to perform in the way they have, because they've played really well and they've matched. Even Burnley haven't disgraced themselves this year. They've had some losses, but a lot of those games were quite close, so they haven't disgraced themselves. So I think they've done all right. But as most people would agree that the teams coming up, they're going to find, their priority is just to stay in the league, right? It's just to survive and to learn how to match the quality of the Premier League. I'm not saying now that Premier League is the best league in the world. I agree with a lot of people out there saying that actually it's got quite boring in many ways. And this is why the game is starting to change a little bit in terms of the way away from the possession-based football and more long balls. And I've talked about this in previous videos as well. And I hope, West Ham, I hope Burnley can get out of it as well. If you're a Burnley fan, you want it, right? If you're a Wolves fan, it's a prayer. You're praying for something, right? But we all know you've gone, essentially. There's still just a slither of a chance that West Ham can get out of it. Less of a chance for Burnley, but still a chance. But you got to take your opportunities. And you're talking at the games like Man United, Man City. The underdog in this case, you would say it's got to be Man United because Man City on top. Yeah, Man City just had 3 draws. If you're taking Chelsea against Brentford, yeah, on paper you say Brentford are the underdog. But actually in terms of recent form, and let's have a look at Chelsea's last recent form here. Chelsea down to 8th. Obviously they got their manager change. They've lost 2 of their last 6, drawn 3, and only won 1. So they've only won 1 of their last 6. Brentford have won 4 of their last 6 and drawn 2. So who's the form team? It's Brentford, right? Who is it? Thiago they got up front? A couple of other players. They surprise a lot of players, but a lot of teams. A lot of pundits they've surprised. They've surprised the hell out of me. But as I said, goes back to Brentford, the way Brentford run, the way Bournemouth run, the way Brighton and Hove Albion are run, to a certain degree, of course, Crystal Palace have run as well. They're playing above their station. They're playing above what people would expect. So you look at the Brentford game, you say, well, they should be the underdogs, but actually they're not. They're not the underdogs. And probably last season, but especially more this season, we've seen this, that there's the teams in the league are a lot better than they ever were, and they're playing a lot better football than they ever did before. So, very interesting stuff. But if you've got 2 poor teams like West Ham and Spurs going head to head, you got to be thinking that it's either going to be a barnstormer or it's either going to be a really tight affair or something that's poor quality. I've got a feeling just because they're 2 defensive managers, 2 counter-attacking managers, that it's not going to be great. You might get some decent football through it, but I don't think it's going to be a barnstormer. But hey, listen, I could be wrong. I'm not the prophet. I'm not the football prophet at all. But Forest against Arsenal, the 5:30 kickoff again. From a West Ham, Burnley point of view, you're looking for an Arsenal win, right? For a Forest point of view, you're looking for a win, right? You want to pull away from the bottom 3. From an Arsenal point of view, yeah, you want to smash them, and you want to solidify your time at the top. You drew last time out at Arsenal, but you've got 5 wins out of 6 games. Villa. Obviously, doing very, very well. They're playing, is it tomorrow? Sunday? Yeah, Villa at home to Everton, 4:30 kickoff. Yeah, I'm going to go for a Villa win there on that one. The Wolves, the 2 o'clock kickoff at home to Newcastle. Newcastle have had some decent results. Obviously, they lost to City in the week for the League Cup semi-final. But I'll go for a Newcastle United away win. And Monday night, Brighton, one of those teams, at home to Bournemouth. So hey, that's going to be a great game on Monday night, I think. Very interesting in terms of results, at least. But listen, back today. All kicks off in, a couple of hours' time. Man United at home to Man City. I'll be back for a reaction for the day's games, but also, obviously, for Spurs, West Ham. What are we going to do? What's your team going to do? Let us know in your thoughts, or let us know in the comments below afterwards. But listen, thanks for joining this impromptu live show. I'm hoping to do a lot more. If you like what I do, keep on watching the videos, and hopefully I'll get more views, more subscribers, and more regular viewers as well, and people will like what I do. And if you don't, I say you don't. It is what it is. Catch you again. Another video, another live show coming very soon. Right, and with that, I'm off to go and do some shopping before the football. Yeah, not sure I really like that. Catch you again. Bye now.